Thank you very much. And thank you, Governor, Senator Schatz, for your encouraging words. And thank you so much to all the other legislators who are here today. I ran into Representative Cynthia Thielen, Representative Kaniela Ng, Councilman Ikaika Anderson, Senator Laura Thielen, and so many others. You know, if we gave them each a turn to speak, we'd be here past dusk. And I know we want to hear so much about what's yet to come, but I'm here to thank them and speak about what this day really represents. You know, 50 years ago today, we look back and we see Dr. King as a visionary, as a leader, as a great American who embodied the struggle and cause of an entire generation. We have adopted his legacy, his fight for freedom, for respect, and most of all, for the equality promised by this great nation, as values that we not only take pride in as Americans, but that define us as Americans. For too many, though, Martin Luther King Jr.'s struggle has been a dream realized, a mission accomplished. I'm here to say Dr. King's legacy is far more than that. Dr. King marched us to the mountaintop and doused the fire of segregation that burned bright in all states, cities, and towns. But across this nation today, the embers of racial discrimination still fester and glow. Dr. King's success is more than just a dream realized. It is in fact a lesson in vigilance for those yet to come. Were he here today, he would tell us that his struggle to overcome injustice is only as lasting and meaningful as the will of future generations to stamp out discrimination wherever else it may appear. It is an endless battle. It is an endless battle that can be won only by the sheer determination to carry on instilled in the hearts and minds of those yet to come. I still find it hard to believe that someone I know within my lifetime, not long ago, was prohibited from membership at the Pacific Club because of her gender, who a generation ago would have been prohibited from marrying the person she loved because of her race, who not long before that would have been prohibited from casting a vote, and before that whose family could have been sold as slaves. The journey to overcome these injustices has been perilous. Ending slavery nearly tore us apart. And it has been unpopular at times. Just 20% of Americans approved when interracial marriage was legalized in 1967. 20%. But pursuing justice and equality has been the right thing to do every time. And our society has adapted, and together we have grown stronger. The fight for justice and equality is in the blood of every generation of Americans, because our struggle goes back to the very founding of our nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men were created equal. And in the 237 years since our country was founded, the greatest tradition in our nation's history has been the sacred obligation of each succeeding generation to fight and extend the promise of freedom and equality to all Americans, a promise this nation made to us all at its inception. Dr. King's dream is that our country lives up to its promise of freedom and equality, but his legacy is all of us here today, picking up his torch and carrying forward. We cannot gather here today as his disciples, celebrating his accomplishment without taking action and standing vigilant in the pursuit of freedom and equality. For today, another group of Americans, painfully discriminated against simply for being who they are, have been fighting for equality and basic respect. With public support from a new generation overwhelming, and with history on our side, Hawaii is now on the verge of passing marriage equality into law and providing to those loving couples the same guarantees of freedom and equality that so many of us take for granted and enjoy today. It is unfortunate that the great march toward justice often divides before it unites. And today our religious community is divided in their support for ending the injustice and discrimination that same-sex couples endure. So as we fulfill Dr. King's legacy by fighting for marriage equality today, we must remind others that the right of any church to freely practice its religion is inextricably linked to the right of two Americans to marry and pursue happiness, regardless of sexual orientation. The protection of our Constitution. The protection of our Constitution that guarantees our religious leaders the freedom to preach as they choose also guarantees same-sex couples the freedom to marry as they choose. This freedom is the reason we can call ourselves a free country. As Dr. King reminds us, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so, following through with the most important of American traditions, it's time for this generation to stand up and be counted, to let those who have struggled before us know that it is their sons and daughters that now fight to fulfill our constitutional obligation to end the harmful discrimination and injustice against gay Americans that has been perpetuated far too long. Let it be known that in the spirit of Dr. King, pursuing this nation's promise of freedom and equality, we will not stop until we reach that mountaintop and douse the fires of discrimination against same-sex couples. As a basic right for all Americans, we find freedom and justice undeniable, and with all our help, the march toward equality inevitable. Thank you very much.